Have you ever felt angry, mad, sad, like you don't belong, unheard, unseen, undervalued, misunderstood, irritated, frustrated, scared, nervous, anxious, impatient, bored, confused, unseen, don't know what to say, worried, unsure, uncertain, alone, discouraged, or fed up? Of course you have. We all have. And all of those feelings are uncomfortable. Those are all uncomfortable feelings. And how do you handle it? How do those feelings come out? How do you work through them? So I want to touch on this again because this week this came up within myself having discomfort and someone else that I was having a conversation with, their discomfort, and it came out in two different ways between us. And so I just want to talk about it because all of these feelings are uncomfortable. And each of us, honestly, processes them a little differently. And so when I suggest to we have to catch ourselves and we have to notice it first that we're in this uncomfortable feeling, sometimes it's hard to catch yourself. And so I wanted to just touch on all of these feelings. Anytime you're upset, angry, frustrated, irritated, all of them that I just listed, you're uncomfortable because those are uncomfortable feelings. And how do we handle that? Because when we're uncomfortable, something in us builds. There's energy in us that builds and it keeps building as we sit in it. And especially if there's something coming at us, like in this conversation I was uncomfortable and it just kept coming. And so it was building and building and building. And sometimes that's hard because for me, my go-to is to shut down and I'm trying not to. But there's something inside that just builds and builds and builds until we have to get it out. And so how do you get your discomfort out when it's frustration or irritation or anger or sadness or feeling not good enough or feeling unheard or unseen or misunderstood? How do you release that discomfort? Is it through blowing up? Is it through snapping at people? Is it through crying? Sometimes my release is crying, or shutting down. I'll shove it all down and pretend like I'm fine, or get really defensive. Or do you lash out at people? Do you blame the other person? Do you verbally attack them? And all of those things are just ways to release that energy. And so I ask you, how do you release your discomfort? I would venture to say, and I know for myself, it's different in different situations. Um, the past couple episodes, I've talked more about when we're in an uncomfortable situation, more so like a big one for me is being around a lot of people I don't know. It's uncomfortable. How do I deal with that? Well, I sit with it. I recognize it. I feel it. And I can work through that easier than when I'm in a conversation and I'm uncomfortable because it just keeps coming. And because when you're in a conversation hasn't stopped. It keeps going and going and going. And the discomfort just keeps piling and piling and piling. And I feel like I can't even take a breath. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to sit with it and notice it and recognize it. And so I'm doing more of any of these negative feelings are uncomfortable, are discomfort. And I'm trying to equate those two together for myself. Say, okay, I'm irritated right now. That's uncomfortable. That's discomfort. All right. And I don't really have the answers right now, but what I've sat with and reflected on and thought about and what I'm going to try is still noticing it. So that's first thing. Any negative feeling that I have, recognizing when that comes in. Oh, this is just being uncomfortable. I'm just uncomfortable right now. I'm angry. That's discomfort. Okay. Because what I've noticed even, in the other situations is just naming it, just acknowledging it eases it a little bit. Cause then it's like, okay, I'm just uncomfortable. Let me deal with this. And then it can be, yeah, I'm uncomfortable right now. I need a moment. Or another way that we often release or handle or work through these feelings of discomfort, these emotions, is through numbing. Either a lot of times alcohol, drugs, distractions. So still our phone, same thing. Basically just numbs it. It's another form of shoving it down, pretending it doesn't exist. And often we distract ourselves to keep it down, because if we face it, then it's going to come out somehow. And so we have a tendency to do more of those things, stay busy, keep distracting ourselves, keep numbing ourselves, to not face it, to not let it seep out. But that doesn't really do it either, right? That doesn't fix the problem. We still feel unheard. We still feel unseen. We still are upset about that situation. We're still annoyed or feel less than. Um, and so we really do have to face it. And that's, noticing it, recognizing it, acknowledging it, labeling it, naming it. That's the first step. And then it is, okay, why am I uncomfortable? If I say I feel misunderstood or unheard, and I can recognize that as, okay, I'm uncomfortable because I'm not feeling heard. Why am I not feeling heard? Okay, this is why. How can I say that? And that may cause another, like, oh, that makes me scared. Okay, that's a discomfort. That's another discomfort. I mean, all of these feelings, I'm realizing, as I'm trying to work through this, all of these feelings are uncomfortable feelings. And so it's working through those uncomfortable feelings of, yes, I'm uncomfortable. Now, it's not to say to bite your tongue, because that doesn't work either. It's it's just pausing, really, like noticing it, recognizing, giving yourself a moment, and then just taking that pause, letting yourself sit on it for a moment of that feeling, because often we'll react to it and we don't even know what we're really reacting to. We're just reacting instantly to that, I'm mad. And then later we regret it because we say something we didn't want to, or we did something we regret later. And those are the things that pause, taking a moment, recognizing it, noticing it, and taking that pause will help not regret things later, because you'll be more intentional in what you do and say. And it's coming from intentions, like you've sat and actually thought about it. It's not just a reaction on an emotion. It's a reaction on with intent. Like you're intentional with what you're feeling, you know what you're feeling, and you're responding to it with more maturity. Because when we respond just instantly on emotion, that's immature. You're not thinking through it. You're just, I feel this way and I respond. You're not thinking of the whole picture. And so when you pause, that gives you that time. And then being able to be intentional with how you speak it and not regretting it later, feeling good about, okay, I was able to address that. I was able to articulate that. And just because something's uncomfortable, it doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's bad or wrong. A lot of times, discomfort is an opportunity for growth, because when we're uncomfortable, it's just pushing our limits. It's pushing our boundaries a little bit. And so if we can learn how to work through those and address that, and recognize you're uncomfortable. Okay, I can work through discomfort. I can handle the discomfort. And it seems easier to work through and handle than just I'm irritated, I'm pissed off, I'm sad, I feel like I'm alone, I feel unheard, I feel unseen. If I can say I'm uncomfortable because I didn't get a call back, and I'm uncomfortable because this person doesn't want to understand what I'm trying to say. And yeah, that makes you sad, but it's an uncomfortable feeling. And if we can just recognize that, because so much causes us to be uncomfortable. Like anything that touches on an insecurity is going to cause discomfort. Anytime you go outside your comfort zone, which is just anything you don't normally do, is going to cause discomfort. Any conversation that you're not used to having or you're unsure about, you're going to be uncomfortable. And that's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It really is opportunity for growth. So what do we do instead? I say I'm going to try to just really recognize and equate the two. And any negative emotion I get, I'm going to try to make that be my red flag that I'm uncomfortable. And so when I get that feeling, okay, I'm uncomfortable, recognize it, notice it, then feel it in my body. Where does the discomfort sit? And just sit with it and just feel it first and take a deep breath. That's the big thing. Breathe, because that'll help release some of that. And move. Like if I'm sitting and I'm in a conversation, I need to move a little bit. Just reposition myself, because that'll help that energy move around a little bit. But if I feel it in my neck and my shoulders, which a lot of times I do, if I can roll my shoulders, move my neck around a little bit, helps just move that, loosen that tension. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then take a deep breath and talk to myself, talk to the friend within. Even if I'm in a conversation, I got to be able to, I'm just uncomfortable. Notice the discomfort, sit with it. I don't have to respond to it, just feel it. And if the other person's talking, let them talk. Just listen to what they're saying. I'm uncomfortable. Let me hear them out. And then I'm going to try to say, I am feeling uncomfortable right now. I need a minute, and I want to try to articulate why. And if the person isn't willing to accept that and give you space, then the conversation doesn't need to continue, because I'm telling you what I need, and I need to care about me, and I'm uncomfortable, and I want to try to explain it, try to articulate it, but I need a minute. There's nothing wrong with saying that. And that's another thing I'm trying to learn, is that it's okay to say these things. I don't know why, but I never realized, and it sounds silly, but that I can say these things like, hey, I need a minute. We don't have to have the answer right away. And it's okay to say that. Okay, so what I really want to stress, I guess, and for us to understand, is how often we are uncomfortable, and to be able to recognize all these emotions. And I say just because for me, it's not a dismissing of it, but for me, it feels lighter if I can say just uncomfortable. I'm just uncomfortable, than saying um, I'm irritated or I'm mad or I'm sad. And I don't know why exactly, but it feels lighter. It feels like I can handle it. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll sit on that a little bit more and come back to it. But yeah, it feels like that's something I can handle. I can control my own comfort. So if I'm just uncomfortable, okay, I can handle that. I'm just uncomfortable. And so I just want us to understand that how often we are uncomfortable. All these emotions, they're discomfort within ourselves, and we can work through that. The first step is just catching ourselves. Okay, this is this feeling. I'm uncomfortable. And then working through how to handle that and how to sit with it and how to be with it and reflect on it and not just react immediately, but take a deep breath, pause, feel it. And so let me know. Let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know what's true for you, if you see it the same or not. Give me your thoughts. And until next time, keep looking forward and keep working on finding comfort in the discomfort.